Oseo.
Oseo.
That's a Cherokee greeting, and then I wave the great feather. That's for the good of it, and it brings the spirits. They like to be summoned with this feather. And my theme today is actually going to be Mother's Day. It was just exactly a week ago. Today's Sunday. A week ago was Mother's Day. The theme I'm calling Mother's Day and Eve. And you'll see what that is. And for Mother's Day, myself and Claudia and Jack, we were up in Idlewild. Idlewild is sort of northeast of San Diego, 3-hour drive into the San Jacinto Mountains. It's also the home of the people Americans call Coyote. They call them Coyote Indians. Their real name is the Murawetam, the original people. And a year ago, almost a year ago, we were there celebrating with them the summer solstice, and we got to really learn a lot more. And evidently there are still Coyote people living there in the vicinity of Idlewild. And we can look all the way over here. It's my display. Overlooking the town of Idlewild, nestled there in the San Jacinto Mountains, is this monumental stone. The Americans call it Taquis. Actually, in Korea, it's more like Tapush, and it actually means that it is the residence of a very mythical ancient person who actually becomes the main patron of shaman, like that. And this is his residence. In the Korea myth, the way I'm trying to put it, the Nukatim were the people of the primal time. There are many, many of them. But eventually most of them sort of withdrew, retreated into things like the stars and other things like that. But a few of them remained and are still there today, and one of them is Duckwish. Yes, he's the patron of shaman. And this is his residence here. So that figures into this here. And another one of the Nukatim that still continues today is Moon Woman. Moon Woman. And Moon Woman is the initiator and teacher of young women. And here I have her right here. And still, thankfully, in evidence, there are places up there that evince the initiations of these women, and it is with red hematite. They have painted a certain set of abstract designs on the rock. There's one in the rocks well below this monument, so way down below there. But you go in there and you can see these paintings on the rock. And another one that's very, very legible and large is actually in the park that's in the town of Idlewild. And they've put a fence around it so it would be preserved. And in these painted designs, here is one. It's like this. And what it is the rattlesnake. The name of the rattlesnake is Sewe. And this is his rattle, Che'e is the rattle. And what I'm meaning with it here, the rattlesnake is the spirit guardian helper of women. So here is Menali, Moon Woman, who teaches and guides young women into their life. And then there's the rattlesnake, who is also their spirit helper. So all of that is here in this place that we were here for Mother's Day. And it's inspired my presentation today. Now, from that, I want to go up here to here. This is Claudia's painting. She's the one who is behind the camera right now. And what is featured here, this is called the Stone Mother. It's an actual rock form, very large, alongside Pyramid Lake in Nevada. Pyramid Lake is itself a very ancient, like Pleistocene lake that has lasted this long, and the people who indigenously live around here are called Paiutes. Their actual name is the Numa. And so they all know this to be the Stone Mother. And in their lore, the Stone Mother sheds tears, and the tears have formed the lake. And here's a pyramid that gives the lake, its name. So it's a very, very sensitive and a good way to say here, Mother, Stone Mother. And at this point, I'm going to introduce, you can come here. This is Claudia's book, so our trip to Ottawa was also a celebration of her newly published poetry book that has been in the making for the past 2 years and now has culminated here. And we really like to introduce this. Is it showing up all right?
It's okay, it's reflecting.
Okay, this is my painting that's on the center of that on the cover. Okay, good. I'm trying to get it in focus here.
Yeah, it's good.
And so this would be a good time for Claudia to read a mother poem pertaining to the celebration of her poetry book. I'm going to read this right.
A daughter's reflection in honor of all mothers everywhere, and especially my own. Mother, do you remember the early mornings when I'd awake and find you stealing a precious moment with books? You would ask me to read to you. That's when I grew my voice. We shared tea leaves pressed between the pages of philosophy, had adventures to local art museums, ballet, and accordion lessons, all woven fabrics of you that I gladly wore, like a first bra, close but secret. While learning cultural patterns that carried me into a different path, I marveled at your resourcefulness in marriage, raising 4 children in a trailer, daily cooking. I've become a living garment on your well-worn loom. Although caught up in constant mothering, I'd hear you wish for a place in her story. Often at dusk, we'd walk into a hidden valley, meet shadows and sounds that thrilled me, feeling safe with you in the sanctity of early eve, while mystery stalked us. Free to roam land rises and lake swells, I have grown song lines that encircle my eyes and lips like dance steps. I am your polished river pebble, dropped into this early morning's pool of meditation, listening for those philosophic whispers that may still have more to say about you before the world quickens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claudia, for your reading of your poem.
My pleasure.
Yes, yes. And so now we're going to go on, drop just below Claudia's, wonderful painting of the Stone Mother to this part here. You can see it says Eve. Now everybody knows the name Eve because you know Adam and Eve. And the Adam and Eve story, I believe, was actually created by the Masoretes, you know, a group of people who sort of put soup into the Bible like that. And so that's what I'm pointing out here. It's a mispronunciation of these letters. These are Greek letters. This is eta, vav, eta. This is actually U. It's not pronounced V. It's actually pronounced U. It's upsilon. And this is what it actually says, aua, aua. Now the vowel U was consistently there throughout the ancient world up into late Roman times. Means her. It just means her outright here. And the pronunciation would be something like hua, hua, or carry it all out with the emphasis with the U, but aua, aua, like that. And so I say the Middle Eastern name to denote the great female power. And then I've listed them here. So this letter H here, the way I'm using it here, this is a breath before the vowel, like that. It's not really a accentuated breath like, you know, ha. It's not like that. It's more just the breath. So, you know, so it's more like awa. Awa is the Hittite word for life. And this one, pronouncing these as Greek letters, is ouo. Ouo is the earth. That's from Persia. And this one, Aua, meaning Armenian, mother of life. And then this one is Eva, Anatolia, now Turkey. And this one, Ibi, is the Greek called Virgin Mother. That is that she is the daughter of Hera. And Hera is parthenogenic. The later Greeks, when the patriarchy took over, made her the daughter of Zeus and Hera, but that's not true. That's fabricated. So that's why she's called the Virgin Mother here. And here I have her portrait. And she is also regarded as the unknown or unrecognized or unrealized little mother. She's the mother whose mystery is not yet realized. That's her right here. And then we have Hera, the great mother of all the ancient world, and here's my portrait of her. I like that very much. So you can take her in there. And then again I have Hibi, is the eponymous ancestress of the Hebrews. That's like to say that the name Hebrew came from Hibi. That's what that means, you know. Also, the Semitic root of her name is, and I don't know how, these are written in Greek letters, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I followed it with the Lakota refrain, heya heya, is the way we say it, heya heya. And so that gives you an idea of what is Eve and what does Eve really mean. And I hope that is entirely legible. It helped to set the real record straight. And then here I have, you can see this is a dolphin. Now the name dolphin is Greek and it comes from Delphi, meaning womb. In other words, the dolphin is the womb of the sea. And on the island of Crete there was an ancient society there of women. We call it the Minoan Society. That was evidently all women, and they left a lot of paintings. The city seemed to have been destroyed by a tidal wave from an explosion of Thera, an island in the Mediterranean. But the evidence of this society of women shows a lot of association with the dolphin. So the dolphin is also figured here in this context as the innermost body of a very, very ancient woman of a very ancient water world. So that's Delphi's here. They come right down here. This is to represent her of Africa here. I call her Yemoja. I use mostly the language of the nation of Yoruba. I'm mostly acquainted with that. So my names come from that. So Orisa are the divinities, so she would be a Orisa. And Queen Mother, an ocean. The name Africa is a European name. The African name for their country is Alkebulan. Alkebulan meaning the mother's land. And the research and book by, what's the first name, Sykes?
Ryan?
Yeah, of Eve and her daughters, or something like that. Anyway,
Michael?
it amounts to that we are all children of her. In other words, he calls her, the Eve of Africa, that she is the first mother of us all. So it's very, very important that for mother, we can see her, right here in this carving of her. And then I want to come down here. This is my drawing, and I very much like this drawing for treating this subject of Mother's Day. I like the whole thing that says something about my feelings about her and Mother's Day. And then I would go all the way over there to that picture I have there. Oh wait, I went too fast. I should go to this one. We're here in India. Okay, I'm in India. This is actually, the Murti of Lakshmi. And she would pretty much, stand for all of the feminine in India. India is a country that's very large and very, very diverse in various languages and so forth, but very anciently and primarily her country, a country of her, of women. There has been long, by now, a very serious admixture into India of patriarchy. And it's kind of an overlay, and yet her society and women who recognize her in themselves still have sustained themselves there in India with patriarchy. In the Mediterranean, that was once an all-women's world. The Mediterranean Sea itself was referred to as the uterus of her. All that's become pretty extinct in the Mediterranean, but mostly has survived, continues to survive in India. And I use a generic Hindu for any words that I'm using in this. The Sanskrit language, called Sanskrit, is a grammarian's language. It was not a vernacular language. It's a grammarian language, and it's become somewhat liturgical, where certain situations are using Sanskrit in their rituals. But it's also very much employed by scholars, anybody who's studying any of these things. So when I use the word Hindu, I'm using it generically with that understanding there. So she is everywhere through India, even where she's been disfigured by the patriarchy, she still manages to come through. So all of that is there in this figure that I have here, in all my emphasis here on the feminine. Also in India, the word Sakti. Sakti, either you could say that it is the feminine power or its energy as feminine. So Sakti is the word for that. Now we can go over to my figure here, continuing with this India theme, like this, starting with the word kuhara. Kuhara is a cavity. And Kuharini is the Sakti, whose abode is in the cavity. And that's, this is my illustration. This is what I'm featuring here of her. And so this novena, goes with her. And I'm going to read that. O Kuharini, thou sprinklest all things with a stream of nectar flowing from the tips of your 2 feet. And as thou returns to thine own place, thou vivifies and makes visible all things that were before time invisible. And on reaching your abode, thou resume your own form. So the comment on this is how wonderfully mirrored in this essential praise of a cognitive total being becoming is, among so many expressions of her consciousness thoughts. Chitti Rupena. Now that's a real clue. In India, chit would mean conscious, just that, or consciousness. Now, to carry that over into the feminine is Chitti Rupena. So Svadrupena means something that's in itself. So now here I'd actually have a clue in this phrase, Chitti Rupena, of woman's consciousness. In other words, it's her presence in consciousness that makes it woman's consciousness. And here in this depiction of her, here she's wearing an apron, and I'm having it covered with gold here. This is to symbolize the term that Hirangarbha. Hirangarbha basically means womb shine, womb shine. It's saying that there is like a membrane, like a veil. Gold means that it's illuminating. It's an illuminating veil that surrounds her womb and gives it a glow, a luster that's actually called bhati in that. So here we get a real feminine consciousness into herself there. So the word garbha is one of the words for womb. Another word using that is garbi. Garbi meaning a secret that's concealed as in her womb here. And then we go up to the top of her hair. This is an actual artifact from India. Very miraculously, I bought it from a vendor selling things from India. And on the back it's actually written what it's called, and that is bakshif. Bakshif. Now the word bakshif in Hindu means clitoris. And bhaga means, it's another word for womb or vulva. The most modern usage of the word is yoni. That seems to have come from the tantric sector in India, which of itself, its etymology means source, but is now being very much used, it's almost like popularized as a use for the woman's vulva here. And so I have this, up here. Another word would be sukhavati. Bhaga means something very beneficent, something very, very good, like that. So she could be called Bhagavati. And where the masculine has come in and co-opted all these female things, the male deity will be called Bhagavan, and things like that. So this is the totality of her, in this way. And another usage that I have for this that I like, Buddhism, what we know as Buddhism, I consider a master suppressor of desire. Probably not the only one, but certainly the one that's very legible. And that's, again, Buddhism is originally patriarchal, even if it has developed other wings that are a relief of the patriarchy. But anyway, she who crosses our desires is both Virarani, the separator, and when favorable, she is Samvarani, the reconciler. I think that that's very important for anybody who is being encumbered by the patriarchal restrictions on desire. And then we can go right up above it. I'm using this little light because I'm standing far away. So this is my charcoal drawing, and it's a drawing with a woman who is bearing her breasts. And I wanted to bring it, certainly breasts and wombs very much denote mother. We definitely know mother by breast and womb. And Africa is one place that still has continued, wherever it's free of Islam and things like that, where women's breasts are bare, you know. And in the Yoruba, actually, we have the name for her, Omu. Omu is the regular way people are referring to a woman's breasts. And then when she's suckling, it's Oyan, the breast. So basically, the breasts that are featured both in person, but in their art, in their sculptures, like that, means nourishment. So all of that there. And then I have one more thing to bring this together. If we can go over here to my little moon woman above the ductless there. Of course, moon, mother, and mysticism all goes together. We all went to our moon mother. Ho ho, hey, hey, ho ho, hey, hey. Hey, hooray, medicine bundles, sacred bundles. By means of your wise thoughts, there rising eastward, our moon mother is speaking. She gives her words, so saying this of us, that when we went up there with Dragonfly, we entered upon her road. Hey, hooray, mud pie moons. Her gifts a flowing silt. The two stars are saying this to all our medicine bundles, here and now. That low-lying Coyote star says this to all sacred bundles here and now. By our moon mother's words, from Heart's Pond all the way to Dawn's Lake, our paths are complete in old age and beauty, so says Coyote here and now. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you.